It's a new day here at McDaniel Motorsports. I am got the trunk pan in, got it all screwed down with tech heads, and I just started to burn it in when I realized I gotta get my camera out and film this for you guys. For those of you who don't like repetitive work, sorry, I'm just doing what I do, so feel free to fast forward through this. I think you guys more advanced followers are probably bored of this, but I don't know, who doesn't like a good time lapse? So anyway, I'm stoked on the progress here, jamming away at this thing. Just a one-man show, so just getting it done every day as much as I can. So here we go. I forgot I turned my shielding gas pressure way down at the end of that bottle, my last bottle, and it was too low. So it's fixed now. Oh yeah, heard that was coming. National security. I think that's what this is for. We are getting there. Probably shouldn't have drilled so many holes. I know that's some of you guys are thinking. But the truth is that I matched the spacing to the rockers, like where the rocker flanges come together, like where you put the window gasket or the door opening gasket, and they're like 3 inches apart. So I did the whole floor pan like that, and why would I stop with the trunk pan? So yeah, one thing's for sure is it's not going to be easy to take off. So I feel sorry for the guy that if these floors ever rot out again, it's going to be a pain in the ass. A whole lot of spot weld cutters will be used, but at least you won't come apart. That fine piece of machinery right there. I love that truck, man. It's been 5 years, and I still just love gazing at it. It's one of those things you just want for almost your entire life, and it's a dream come true, really. I've had my struggles with it, don't get me wrong, but those are all caused by me. Just so you guys know. What's up, guys? It's another day here at McDaniel Motorsports. Back on the Charger. We're finishing burning in the trunk pan and the trunk pan extensions. So here we go. Some of my welds from yesterday when I was welding through the V-brace. My helmet kept shutting off and on, and it was kind of a mess, but so I couldn't weld very well. So I'm just touching up those areas. So I've got all the structural welds done for the floor pan. So now, when I actually went through and traced the bottom of where I was going to be putting these spot welds, I did a straight line, and come to find out that the sheet metal doesn't lay flat on the cross brace for the shock mounts, for the upper shock mounts. So I have to do what I call cosmetic welding, basically patching up little holes that I made that I thought were going to be flat on the cross member. So anyway, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cosmetic welds here on this line, and I think I have one back here. But so I'm going to turn the heat down and be right back. And what I mean by, for those of you who don't know, what I mean by turning the heat down is I'm turning down the amperage of the welder, which is could be referred to as heat, but it's actually a setting that you get to decide how fast your filler metal comes out of the gun, this stuff, and then you have a shielding gas that goes around that to protect the weld puddle. But when you pull the trigger, the amount of electricity that goes through this filler wire is what I'm referring to as amperage or heat. So hopefully that makes sense. I know most of you probably know that, but I have some younger viewers that may not. So before I start grinding, I wanted to take a second to help you understand why I wear goggles now when I weld. And I would sacrifice a pair of motocross goggles to do this if I didn't have these. But a few weeks ago, I got something in my eye, slept it off. I was like, no big deal, thought it was just a piece of whatever. Woke up the next day and it was actually a rock, just right here at the base of my eye. I'm like, pulled it out, cool, dodged that bullet. That next day, the same day I pulled the rock off my face, I got a piece of rust, a piece of metal that was rusting. Basically, I had safety glasses on, and it literally, I was derusting or cleaning up one of the inner fender wells, and a piece of rust flake went in past my goggles, bounced off my safety glasses, and went into my eye. And that was like a Thursday, so I waited a whole weekend, went out to the ranch and did some work and stuff with some buddies, and it just killed me all day. It was just bothering me. So I went into my eye doctor on Monday, and there was a piece of rust stuck in my eye, my cornea, and the only way to get it out is to drill it out. So they actually put you in a fixture, they hold your chin and hold your top of your head so you don't move, and they have shining light, and they have literally a drill bit that they grind the piece of rust out of your eye with. So if you don't want that to happen to you, I would highly recommend taking it seriously. So I just wanted to share that story. So yeah, anyway, on to grinding. mentioned that this is way overkill for what I'm doing, but in the sake of saving time, I'm really hitting just the corner of this flap wheel, just knocking down these little mounds of weld, and then I can go through and fine tune it with my band file, which is that little Milwaukee little I guess you could call it a belt sander, little miniature belt sander. So that's what I do to fine tune it and get it actually flat. Because this thing is so aggressive, it'll actually start eating the sheet metal really fast. And this sheet metal is only maybe 16 gauge, so it's not very thick. So this flap wheel will go right through that sheet metal really quick. So I'm just using the edge of it just to knock these guys down. So I want to take a quick second to appreciate one of my subscribers. His name's Caden Talbot. He's 13 years old, and the fact that he sits through all of my car building videos is truly amazing to me. Most 13-year-olds don't do this. They don't care about this. I mean, cars are cool to a lot of kids, yes, but to sit and watch this tedious, hugely time-consuming project like this means he's got it in him, and he's got the blood in him to do this stuff. And that's the future of hot rodding is 13-year-olds, because when guys like me are long and gone, who's going to keep these old cars running? Like, I have nightmares about these cars being sent to the crusher, you know, when they get sold from family, you know, wills and, you know, trust sales, and they just get sold by kids, you know, or I guess kids of parents who have passed on, or grandparents or whatever, and nobody really gets them. So thank you to Caden for following through and watching all these videos. I'm truly impressed by you, and I really wish there was more kids like you. So thank you to you, and I'll get back to work. I switched over to my angle grinder with a 60 grit disc on it. This is I try not to use this just to keep from pissing off my neighbors, but today I don't have a choice because those band file things are terrible. So anyway, back to it. Let's see through all this. So I wanted to show you guys why we have to go back over these welds, or not all of them, but some. So you can see here where it's penetrated fully. I checked underneath, but you have a little hole right here that's, yeah, these are going to get seam sealed, but I like to actually just fill in these holes. It just takes one zap of the welder. So I'm gonna go through and just top these guys off. It's my OCD and I'm okay with it. So but yeah, I just want to show you guys that. And yeah, so they're all grounded down. Just got to go back through and touch some things up. Here we go. It's a new day here at McDaniel Motorsports. I have a cold, but I'm still upright and working. So I'm very picky when it comes to my work, and in the last segment I said that I wasn't going to replace my lower rear window frame because I thought it was good enough, and you know, I just can't bring myself to leave stuff like that, and especially because it's buried under a pile of sheet metal. So if I was to put the new plenum on and, you know, the two new quarters, I would still have a semi-rotten lower window frame on my rear window. So I can't stomach it. I can't let it go, and I guess that's just who I am. But don't let my decisions sway your decisions. You know, cars are cars. They are meant to be driven. I'm not building a show car, but you know, I've already peeled all these layers of the onion back, and so like while I'm in here, it makes sense. I mean, the part was like $120, and you know, yes, it's a little bit more work, but I think in the end, I'll be happy that I did it. But I'll show you. It's the this lower piece right here, and yeah, I probably could have welded to it and just buried it and just forgot about it. I mean, it has a couple little holes there you can see, but yeah, I just decided to get rid of it. So it's on the way. Everything from AMD seems to take at least a week to get here. I didn't spring for expedited shipping, and frankly I've got plenty of work to do in the meantime. So but yeah, again, don't let my decision or judgment sway yours if you're in the middle of something like this. Everything is subject to its owner and its owner's values. So yeah, it's a little worse on this side, and I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm making the right decision by replacing it. So I'm gonna get to cutting these spot welds, and I will film it. So for those of you who have not seen this technique before, I'm going to show you how to remove spot welds that are painted. So first thing, MAPP gas torch, go over, I'd say maybe 8 to 10 inches at a time, because what you're doing is you're heating up the paint on the metal, and basically just turns it really soft so it flings off once you hit it with a wire wheel. So basically it also, in this case, you can see the spot welds for the most part, but when you're working on exterior panels, chances are they have filler and some layers of glaze or whatever the case may be. So the torch actually heats up the paint and the top layer so you can expose the spot welds that you need to remove. So doesn't take much. Try to deal with it. About 8 to 10 inches at a time. You don't have to get it real hot or anything like that. There's no need to get it really, really hot. You're just softening the paint. So this POR stuff is a good product, and here's why. Because I coated this inside of this inner structure here with the POR, and now I'm having to remove it. It took me 2 passes with the torch and a wire wheel to remove it, and it's still there for some, well, I could see the spot welds, but it's stuff wears like iron, so that should be a testament. And I am not paid to advertise this stuff. I've just used it for years, and it's a product I believe in, so I still pay full retail. Unfortunately. But yeah, you can see the before here on this side. You can kind of see the spot welds. It does not come off without some good effort. So the next step is what I usually do is take a small drill bit and drill a pilot hole in each spot weld, And yes, the spot weld cutters do come with a bit. This is the one I would recommend using. They make like a hole saw version of this as well, but I believe that isn't the best move. I think this is more of a, you can see it's got like an arbor in the center instead of leaving a hole. So this is the one I recommend, only because it removes more metal in the center. You're not left with like a punch or a hole punch, you know, if you know what I mean. So I will, so for instance, this guy right here has to go right in the center of the spot weld. So the idea with that is you have a quick little guide for the next step, I guess you could say. So let me swap out my bit here. Typically I'll go through and drill a pilot hole in every single one of these, but for demonstration purposes I use steps on this one guy here. Make sure you guys can see it. And the main thing with these spot weld cutters is you do not want to come out of first gear in your drill or your screw gun. Speed kills these things, so you do not want to speed with this process. Just resist the urge to go too fast, because it will burn up these bits in a heartbeat. I usually do about half throttle in first gear. Not pushing hard, just letting the tool do the work. Kind of see how it's taking most of the hole with it with this arbor. And you start getting a little rust showing. It's like a little waft of rust dust, if you will, and that's when you know you've gone through the first layer. And you don't want to go through the second layer if you can help it, because you'll have to live with that hole or patch it. So and we're already dealing with rusty metal, so I would do your best to not go through too far. Yeah, it's just the harsh reality of dealing with rusted cars here. I mean, it's just, you can see that rust coming through there, and rust does kill these bits like crazy. I mean, it just dulls them out super fast. So that's why I recommend going slow. It says not to exceed 600 RPMs. See, I've gone through that first layer there. spot weld. My head's in a fog today. Alright, man. And when you get rot here, it's really sometimes hard to discern between rot and spot welds. So you may drill an extra hole here and there, but it's really not a big deal. Just sneaking up on it. See how I just went through this layer right here, and then you see the little like a rust dust, I guess. Just want to sneak up on it. Sometimes if you go too far on these guys, there'll be like a little halo of sheet metal that'll stick here, and the next time you go and try to drill in, it won't go anywhere. So just be aware that if you go a little bit too far, it'll take a little halo of sheet metal on the end of the bit here, and it won't allow the arbor teeth to bite in. So just keep an eye on that. You can typically just kind of unscrew it, I guess you could say, off that drill bit. So tell you, or admit to you rather, that I've never done this before. I've built trucks, lots of them, but honestly I've never owned a spot weld cutter. I've always used drill bits, assorted drill bits, and I've never done this level of sheet metal work. So if this scares you, don't be afraid to try it. Like, just do it. Just get into it. Watch a ton of YouTube videos on it. People that are smarter than me they're in abundance out there. I would caution you, just don't jump into a project unless you have a budget. that's my best advice, because I've been there and done that, and I'm currently in there. I've got 2 projects and not enough money for even one of them. So, but you know, this stuff doesn't get done on its own. So hard work is really what it takes to get it done. And just don't get in over your head. Just know what you're doing before you do it, kind of thing. So hopefully that'll empower some of you to jump into this. The car was put together by someone at some point, and that's the way I look at it. Some guy put this car together, or multiple people did, and so that should help you understand that it'll come apart and it'll go back together. You just gotta jump in and do it, and that's how you learn. So don't be afraid to try this. So after you've cut those 2 welds out, you want to get some spot weld seam splitters. These ones are actually made by Steck, S-T-E-C-K. Got them on Amazon. This is the straight one. I use this guy the most, and you can see it's got a cutting edge here and on the end there, and you basically just hit it with the hammer and blast through all your seams. So I will demonstrate. Once you get these guys loosened up, the first one makes it easier to keep going. But tapping as I go and focusing on each spot weld as you go through. This thing will cut through metal like you can't believe, especially with the hammer. Try not to damage the piece you're keeping too much, but you can go through with a dolly and flatten it out afterwards, which is what I typically end up doing. Sometimes you have to keep going. Get a stubborn one, you have to keep going with the drill bit. Like we got a stubborn one like this guy here.